Welcome everyone. In this session, let us see what is meant by fuse, its terminologies and its characteristics. Fuse is, in the simplest form, it is nothing but a small piece of thin metal wire which is connected between two terminals and mounted on a insulated base. It is a simplest form of the protective device. It is cheapest as well as the oldest protective device which is used, which interrupts the current under overload or short circuit conditions. So it is a thermal device wherein it possesses a inverse time current characteristics. That means the operating time will decrease as the fault current increases. And this fuse is designed in such a way that it can carry the working current safely, and whenever there is a fault it has to break. Okay, this fuse being the oldest device, protective device, as I've told you, it is used to protect various electrical equipments, cables, semiconductor devices, any any equipments which needs protection. Okay, they are available in a large range of sizes, and it can be designed as a single use, that is a one time use fuse, or a rewirable type fuse. So you have different types of fuses which will be discussed in the next session. So this initial cost of a fuse is small, but the problem is with the maintenance and its installation and replacement. So that will be a little bit expensive when you compare to the other protective devices. So we'll see some of the terminologies with respect to fuse. A fuse is nothing but a protective device. Okay, it is used to protect cables or any other electrical equipment against overloads and short circuit. So what it does is, whenever there is a fault, the fuse element will melt. Nothing but fuse element is nothing but the fuse wire. Okay, it will melt, and whenever there is a current flowing through it which is above its rated current. So next is a fuse element or fuse wire. A fuse element is nothing but a fuse wire. The fuse wire will be of different materials. Okay, that is the wire which will melt when the current will flow above its rated value. So it will break the circuit. So the materials which is commonly used as a fuse elements are tin, lead, zinc, silver, copper, aluminium. Most of the times an alloy of lead and tin will be used, or copper will be used for a low range of current circuits. Okay, the property of this fuse element is these materials should have a low melting point. Okay, and if you observe the table, a low melting point material will have a high specific resistance. And that means for a given current rating, the fuse element which is made from low melting point metal will be having high specific resistance, and it will have a greater diameter. Okay, and hence a greater mass of the metal than those made from high melting point will be required. So we use a material which is having a lower melting point. So out of all these materials which are listed, that is tin, lead, zinc, aluminium, silver or copper, Practically, silver is found to be a very good fuse element because it will not be subjected to oxidation, and it will not lead to deterioration of the material. So the only drawback with the silver is that it is a costlier material compared to other materials. So sometimes silver is used as a fuse element, but along with the silver, you will have some other materials used in conjunction with it. Okay, so that is related to the fuse element. Next one is the fuse element going to melt. So every fuse will have a rated current on it. Okay, the rated current will be specified. So this rated current is nothing but the current which the fuse can carry safely without any breaking. Whereas the minimum fusing current is the one at which the fuse element will melt. Obviously, if the fuse element if it has to melt, the current has to be above the rated current, is it not? So this minimum current at which the fuse element will melt is called as the minimum fusing current, and this minimum current is measured in terms of the RMS value. So this minimum fusing current depends on various factors such as the material which is used, the material length, its shape of the material, and area of cross section of the element, size and location of the terminus, and the type of enclosure which is used, and how many number of strands are there in the fuse wire, whether it is a single strand or whether it is a multiple strand. Depending on that also the fusing current will vary. So when we replace the fuse wire in our domestic purpose, we have to take care of its length, we have to take care of the material which is used, as well as we have to take care of the its diameter. So it will cause an effect on the minimum fusing current. So the typical values of fusing current for standard fuse wires which has 2, 3 or 4 and 7 strands will vary depending upon the number of strands. Okay, depending upon the number of strands, your fusing current is also going to vary. So an approximate value of the minimum fusing current for a round fuse wire will be given by I is equal to K into D power 3 by 2, where K is a constant depending upon the material of the fuse wire, and D is the diameter of the wire. So fusing factor is nothing but it is the ratio of the minimum fusing current to rated current. That means fusing factor is the ratio of minimum fusing current to rated current. So obviously your minimum fusing current will be greater than the rated current. So this fusing factor is always greater than 1. So now let us see the different values of K for a different material. So you can see that tin is having 405.5 value, that is K value for certain diameter in centimeter. Similarly for lead, for iron, for aluminium and for copper, these are the different values of constant K. And if you see the standard wire gauge, which is 20, its diameter is 0.09, its diameter in centimeter. Okay, this diameter is in centimeter. So 0.09 centimeter. So rated current will be 34 amperes. Approximate fusing current will be 70 amperes. So this is in amperes. So you can see that a standard wire gauge of 40 will have a rated current of 1.5 amperes and approximate fusing current will be 3 amps. That means As your wire gauge increases, you can see the rated current is reducing, thereby varying the fusing current also. This is related to the material which is used, the value of K, and the value of the different standard wire gauges and what will be its rated current. Next we will see to the cutoff characteristics of a fuse. And this is the cutoff characteristics of a fuse. You can observe that the x-axis is the time and y-axis is the current. So now let us see two terms with respect to y-axis, that is prospective current and the cutoff current. So prospective current, you can observe the dotted line over here, which is half AC, half cycle AC. This current is called as the prospective current. So prospective current is nothing but the current which would have flown in the circuit if there was no fuse present. So if in the absence of fuse, whatever current flows in the circuit is nothing but the prospective current. If a fuse is present, okay, if a fuse is present and if the fault occurs, the fuse will melt at a point which is nothing but the cutoff current. So cutoff current is the current at which the fuse element will melt. So if the fuse is present, the fuse will melt at cutoff current. If the fuse is absent, on occurrence of a fault, whatever current flows, that is called as the prospective current. So prospective current is measured in terms of RMS value of the AC component of the fault current in the first major loop. So this is the first major loop of the fault current. Okay, whereas the cutoff current is usually measured as an instantaneous value. So it is possible for a prospective current, which is RMS value, to be numerically less than the cutoff current. So since the fault current normally having a large first loop, if it generates sufficient heat energy, the fuse element will melt well before the peak of the prospective current is reached. So this is the peak prospective current. Now if we come across the x-axis, x-axis is time. We have three terms. One is pre-arcing time, arcing time, and the total operating time. So if the pre-arcing time is nothing but the time at which the fault has occurred and at the instant when the fuse element has melted, that is the pre-arcing time. So when the fuse melts, arc is initiated. Okay, so once the arc is initiated, the arc has to quench. So the time from the arc being initiated and the arc being quenched, that time you call it as arcing time. So if you observe here, we have the pre-arcing time, that is interval 0 to A, and arcing time is the interval A to B. So the total of pre-arcing time and the arcing time is nothing but the total operating time. And so if you observe this cutoff characteristics, if a fault occurs, you can observe that the fault current increases. In case the fuse was absent, it would have reached the peak value of the prospective current. But what will happen since the fuse is present, the fuse will melt at the cutoff current. So because of the heat generated by the fault current, what will happen is the fuse element will melt and an arc will be initiated. After a brief arcing time, the current will be interrupted. So the cutoff current, it depends upon the rated current, the prospective current, and the asymmetry of the fault current waveform. Now the last term is the rupturing capacity or the breaking capacity. This is nothing but the MVA rating of the fuse, which corresponds to the largest prospective current. Okay, so When a particular rupturing capacity is specified, it is expected that the fuse will successfully operate in a circuit having the prospective current equivalent to its rupturing capacity. But the fuse will melt before that due to the cutoff action. So usually a fuse will never allow to pass a current equivalent to its rupturing capacity. Next is the time current characteristics of a fuse, that is a fuse characteristics. You can observe it has an inverse time current characteristics, that is, as the current increases the fusing time will decrease. So if you observe that the characteristics is asymptotic and there is a minimum fusing current, a minimum current below which the fuse will not operate. Okay, if you observe the operating time of the fuse for currents which is near the minimum fusing current is very long. So this is all about the fuse, its terminologies and its characteristics. So next video will see the different types of fuses. Thank you.